everyone, and welcome to the African Authors and Speakers Forum, Technology Authors and Speakers Forum. As you know, the aim of this forum is to encourage especially aspiring Africans in South Africa and in Africa who work in the field of technology, but many of them in other fields, is to stand up, to put your voice out there, to say that you have so much to give us. You've learned so many things. You've got so much wisdom. And what are the things that people like me and Ursula, our guest today, and our other guest, what are the things that we wish we knew 20 or 30 years ago that we know now that can help you fast track your career as a speaker, a blogger, a writer, a YouTube poster or professional? So I'm so happy to have a very good friend and somebody I admire greatly on the recording today, Ursula Botha, who is a speaking and confidence coach. And I'm going to put her links in the description when I post this video, because you have to look at her amazing YouTube videos, her YouTube shorts in particular. I get very jealous because she does it so well. But also to contact her to see if she can help you and especially your team and your company regarding public speaking and presenting and the like. Founder of Confident Voices, and what she says on her website is, our goal is to help individuals across your organization to think critically, articulate, we've spoken about that word many times, their ideas with clarity, engage their audiences, and produce tangible results that drive business growth. Ursula is a trained actress, and I sometimes wonder if one of the best ways to get into public speaking is the skill of and the training that actresses and actors have. It's incredible. She's a professional presenter. She's just an amazing person. Ursula, so welcome to our forum. It's so good to see you. How are you keeping?
Oh, thank you for that introduction, Johan. It is such an honor to be here and to be talking to your authors and speakers and putting this puzzle of this incredible world together, because there's so much to learn, Johan.
Thank you. We've met once or twice. I've seen you present at one or two conferences or to MC. You've got so much confidence, and I don't know if that is your natural personality or whether when you're on the stage, the zone just kicks in, but your body language and all your videos, your hand movements, there are no flies around you because you're moving around so often. And we've discussed this before. There was that TED talk where that amazing lady spoke about hand movements and how the audience resonates with it. But it's almost like when you take the mic or when you do that YouTube video or YouTube short or when you go onto stage, there's a zone you get into. I don't know if that's just how you are or if that's your zone when you speak. Is that your personality? What I'm asking is, I think a lot of people are incredible introverts and very shy, and they don't have to change that, but there's a switch when you are presenting. What would your comments be on that?
That is a compliment. Thank you, Johan. It's very kind of you to say. And it was Vanessa Van Edwards who did that TED talk about the hand gestures. And I think it's very powerful. And that kind of goes back to, yes, my story, definitely not a confident by naturally confident. I was a shy kid, extremely shy, and I ended up doing drama and acting, and all the tools that I got from that world helped me in expressing my voice and in finding my authentic voice. So it's definitely, I've got tools and strategies that help me, and I definitely don't think anyone should feel confident all the time. Confidence is layered, and the more you practice a skill, the better you get. Johan, sometimes I make videos and I'm like, this is so difficult, or it's, you're standing on stage and sometimes it goes great. Sometimes you feel like hiding and it's just so tough because it feels vulnerable and scary. So I feel the whole spectrum of emotions when it comes to speaking and putting your work out there. I think it's brave work that we do. What do you think?
No, absolutely. There's also an element, and I often speak about this, and I don't have a more eloquent way of saying it, but get over yourself. Because I will often, when they record my talks or when I look at my own recordings, and I do it firstly to check the quality and secondly to learn about what I can do better in the future. But I hate it. Firstly, my voice doesn't sound the way it sounds in my head. And I don't like the way it sounds. And secondly, I look at the things I did wrong. I looked at the one side of the audience the whole time and not the other side. I don't think anyone in the audience noticed it. But I would say the last 2 or 3 years, especially since my public speaking really, really kicked off, I almost monthly had a moment of saying, screw it, I'm done. I suck. My videos suck. I can't do it. And then now and then, thank goodness, a little LinkedIn message pops in. We loved your talk. You really helped us. And then I think, okay, maybe I should keep on doing this because it's helping people. But no one gets it right entirely. No one is perfect. But people out there need to hear our voices. Tell me a bit about voices, because the work you do, especially with big corporates, are incredible. And I want to entice and encourage corporates who are listening to this recording to be in touch with you. When they engage you, what is the stuff that you do that you can help them with?
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question in 3 parts. So part 1 is that the whole philosophy about confident voices, it's very simple. The philosophy is that your voice matters, that you matter, that your ideas matter. A lot of people grew up with experiences where they were not heard, where their voices were disregarded, where they weren't respected. And so it feels quite scary to share your ideas or to bring it out. And so a lot of the work is in helping people express themselves. And I work in the space of, so my whole philosophy is helping communication, build communication skills, master communication skills. And it's a skill. And we get better at the skill the more we do it. Like you were just saying, Johan, the more you speak, the more you watch yourself, the better you get at the skill. So I help people in the business environment to improve that skill. And we focus mainly on executive presence, on your vocal technique, and even on your leadership, personal leadership, because communication is so linked to your leadership style and to team dynamics. And then presentation skills is another part. And in that process, it's all about tools to get better, because you want to get better at it, and then you build your confidence. And I'm hoping that I answered all the questions.
It's something that, and I mentioned it briefly when I introed you about articulation, because work is not necessarily public speaking per se, and that's it. The way we speak and come over is important in our relationships, with our partners, with our children, definitely in the workspace, getting your boss to sign off on that proposal, getting your colleagues on your side, dealing with conflict. So even if people never become public speakers, to learn how to speak well and to win people over, because that's why we speak. That's why animals don't speak. We speak to win people over, to encourage, to engage, to convince. So I think what you do, people shouldn't have kind of think it's just about becoming a public speaker. It's corporate skills. It's life skills. Are most of us, if I can just ask you, sorry to interrupt you, but most of us, and you also said it's a skill. I think I sometimes look at people who seem to be gifted, but I think the percentage is very low. Most of us stuck serious, and we learn over time. I think it's more a skill than a gift. I'm going to leave you with that, but please pick up what you wanted to say.
No, I'm gonna lead with that. So it is a skill, and you should ask yourself 3 questions at the end of the day. Am I getting better? Am I staying the same, or am I getting worse? Okay. How do we get worse? Is when we don't actively practice the skill. So how can we get better at the skill? This is where and Dale Carnegie said it in all his books. He says, practice the skill when you are ordering your coffee at the coffee shop. Pitch your idea, your elevator pitch. How you want to introduce yourself to people. That's so important for any speaker and for any professional. For networking, for growing opportunities, have that elevator pitch and test it out on people. So you're always improving the skill. Or when you're at a party and you've got to tell a story, tell it engagingly. How am I going to let the narrative go? And then if you want to become a great communicator, record yourself, shoot videos. That's how you get better. And like you were saying, Johan, then you will watch yourself. You will watch the playback. You will learn from that communication style. And instead of judging yourself, and we have that inner critic voice, and it's so hard on us. And so to kind of put that inner critic to the side, and this is how I always guide people to give themselves feedback, to go, okay, what am I doing well? And then to say, and what can I improve? Okay, I can improve looking at the other side of the audience, or I can improve my vocal variety. I can make things more exciting. I can mumble less. I can stumble over things less. I can use less filler words, whatever that is. But it's incremental gains. It's small things, because how we speak and how we come across can just uplift and build the credibility of what you're saying and the impact. I mean, look at Obama, look at powerful speakers and the impact they can have. And you only get better at it through the practicing of it.
You're so right. And I think a lot of people, especially in the tech space, think it's the content of my speech and of my slides that will benefit the audience. And I think it does play a role, but it's how you connect with them. I think we often avoid the human nature, the behavioral science. I want to feel like I connect with you. And you mentioned waiters. I've heard of a lot of people, when they have a first interview with a new potential employee, they have the interview in a restaurant and they ask that person to place the order to see how they engage the waiter, because a lot of people treat waiters and waitresses like crap. And I don't care how many MBAs you have and blah, blah, blah. If you can't treat that person whom you deem as not worthy incorrectly in a respectful way, you're going to probably not be good for the team in my business. And over the years, I've learned to try and be present, because I often struggled because my brain is so busy that when people speak with me, I kind of switch off and I look away and I start doing other things, which is very rude. Unless they're really wasting your time. But what I get the best service in restaurants. The reason is I look at the name tag, or I ask the name if they don't have one. I ask them, what does the name mean, especially African names, because the names are often so beautiful in meaning. And then I will ask, how was your day? And the thing is, I turn my body to them and look them in the eyes and engage. They will probably fall over their feet to serve me. And the same is true with colleagues, and the same as at conferences. So yes, have great slides, have great content, and that's why I don't like virtual presentations, because that connection is not quite there. But when you're with an audience and you look at them and they feel like they're connecting, they probably will never remember your slides. They will remember that was a great person. He or she can help me. I need to contact them. We forget human behavioral side. I think especially in the tech space, it's content, great slides, new AI, new blah, blah, blah. But you're standing behind the podium, you're not using your body, and people can't connect with you. I said a lot, but I'll open it up for you.
And it's, I want to add to that, Johan, it's that thing of, it doesn't matter if you're speaking to 1 or 100. And every audience you get, you speak to them as if it's 5 people or more than that. And that's to transfer the waiter example that you were giving. Another thing even that you were making me think of when you were saying about connecting and the authenticity of connection, even the part of making friends with, I always make friends with the technical crew. So getting to a conference early, making friends with the technical guys, knowing their names, because I know technicality is not my strong point. And when I need them to help me and to ask them questions, just to build that rapport so that you can also be helped and guided and supported, because it's teamwork. Everything about getting onto that stage is a team effort, and it's a lot of energy, and you want to have, just all that beautiful support as you start. What are your thoughts on that?
No, look, I always say this, that when I get to a conference, I get there early, I meet the organizers, because I probably have never met them before. And the next thing I do is the sound, the audiovisual crew, because the success of my talk greatly relies on them. I often joke with them and I say, you're like insurance. If nothing goes wrong, no one will know you're there. But let one thing go wrong, one mic not working, one slide not working, the whole audience looks back at you with judgment. And they appreciate it because almost no speaker, in my experience, ever really goes and chats to them, meet them, shake their hands. And the other thing I try and do, and sometimes I do forget, is when I'm done with my talk or with the event, I make a point of going to them and saying thank you. I try and make a point of thanking them at the end of my talk. They will bend over backwards for you because no one acknowledges them. They're incredibly important, Ursula. It's those connections. It's not just the important people in the front row. It's people standing in the door, in the back, the sound people, the security people, the cleaning people, the people who put water on the tables. The other day I had somebody he was one of the security people at the hotel where I spoke. And during one of the breaks, he came to me very shy. He almost felt like it wasn't really his place, and he was scared that he would offend me. And he said he's got a degree in computer engineering. He couldn't find a job, so he became a security person. But can I give him a few tips of how to get into the field of technology? And I had such a lovely, short but lovely conversation with him. So even if no one in the audience likes your talk, there is a seemingly significant person whose life you're going to change. Go on, please.
Can I add to this? So, two things that I want to add to this. Let's talk about the data issue that you mentioned earlier. You said sometimes it's just so heavy on the content. And this is the problem that often happens. People, when they approach the work of preparing for your keynote, preparing for your talk, the first thing they do is they go behind their laptops and they create their PowerPoint slides. And that's when it becomes death by PowerPoint, where we need to reverse the process, because the audience, they don't want to look at your PowerPoint. They want to look at you. And Johan, I know you do this well because I've seen you speak, and I know that you're not heavy reliant on slides. But that's often when we lose people, when they get so reliant on the slides, and the slides become everything, and they're actually turning their back on the audience because they're referring to the slides. But I don't want to see the slides. I want to see you and your perspective and your input. Then on that other part, I think your only job and your biggest job as a speaker is not to be liked. And that's a hard one for us. It's a hard one for me, Johan. I want to be liked. I want you to like me. Okay, yes. But often that will be crippling because you cannot control that. But here's what I can control. I can control being of service of the work. I can control the value I give people, and I can be in control of giving my best. And if I can walk off stage and know that I did that, then I did good.
That's so good. Say it again. What are those three things you just mentioned? So important.
Service, give value. And let's start again. Be of service to what you're doing. Give value, as much value as you can, and do your best. Give it your best.
That's precious.
And that's how it's precious. And that's how you get better. And that's how you take your power back as well. Because when we're just looking on the outside and you want the standing ovation, you're giving your power away to them.
You're so right. And it's also, Ursula, about motivation. If my motivation is I'm the most important person here, I want to sell to you like crazy. So every slide has got my LinkedIn profile, my website. And it's because people switch off when you try and smear it off, most of them. But if your motive is, I really, really believe the little bit that I have, I want to give to you. It's that paying it forward principle, because often you get more referrals and future business out of that approach than trying to hit a hard sale because people don't want to be sold to. What I do want to ask you is, now a new organization contacts you, somebody see you speak at an event, see one of your great videos and say, Ursula, we're a bank, we're a telco, we're a small company or a big company. Come and help us. Where do you start?
When they say they want, sorry, just to clarify the question, the organization reaches out and says, please help us. Usually the organization would know what they want. So my services are very much, it's either a keynote or we do a workshop, a team 2-day or online type of thing, or we do one-on-one coaching. So those are the 3 parts where I can help. And I approach it through having an exploration conversation. I love an exploration conversation. If you go onto my website, you'll see at the top corner, it is book a call with me and we can have a chat. And I can guide the person who's reaching out to me to kind of understand what is the problem. And then I can say, okay, we've got this course or that course, or we can bespoke this and do that for you. So that is very much how I approach it. But have that conversation. The more conversations we have, the more you build relationship, and that's where you book more gigs, in my opinion, and in my experience.
I agree with you, because even in the stuff I do, which is not what you do, people will take call it the symptoms of the problem. So in my case is the symptom is we're not using the data quickly enough. We're not servicing our clients, so we need AI. When I unpack it, it's not at all what they thought, because the symptoms is a reflection of a deeper problem. So in your case, I would think if people say, for instance, I need my sales team or my PR team or just my finance team to be better at expressing themselves or I need my salespeople to be better at pitching our ideas. Why that initial conversation is needed, because sometimes what they think they need, if they look at your menu of services and they pick 1 or 2, it does not answer the root cause. And that's why that exploratory, consultative conversation is needed at first. Please go on.
And we learn from our mistakes, right? So I have to share with you, and I've not gotten it right. I had an incredible opportunity for a 2-day workshop with an incredible organization. And they gave me the brief, and I thought I understood the brief. I thought I understood who was in my room. And it was a tough 2 days. It was tough. And when we did the debrief and the feedback on how the session went, it was hard. It was hard to get that feedback because it didn't quite achieve what we wanted it to achieve. It missed the specs, and I had to reflect and realize, okay, I didn't get the brief. I thought I got the brief. I know I put my heart and soul into it, but I didn't quite get the brief. I didn't quite get who was in the room with me. And that was the best learning, because now I know in order for me to give my best work as a speaker, as a trainer, I really need to understand the problem and understand who's in the room with me so that I can serve them better.
Yes. It's so precious. What I do want to ask you before we end, females.
Are we ending? Why are we ending, Johan?
Short 20-25 minutes, but I am going to invite you.
This is great.
I think we need like an hour and a half webinar for the audience, because there's so much, and also to see the Q&A, because there are topics of relevance that I don't always think about, You want to say something? What do you want to say?
No, I don't want to say anything. I'm ready for my last question.
Okay.
Bring it.
Females in public speaking, especially in the African and South African context. Now, what I've picked up a lot from my previous guests, and I've also seen this, is because of the cultures a lot of us have grown up in, we might feel that as a woman, I don't really have a right to speak. I never got the opportunity as I grew up, or even as a professional, a highly experienced, brilliant professional. you're not in an environment, and often it's a very big corporate environment, where you as a woman really have a voice. Now, a big part of this forum is to encourage young women in South Africa and in Africa to, like say, man up, just not the best gender neutral term, but you know what I'm meaning, is get to conferences, speak at conferences, get invited, put yourself out there. But it is admittedly for a lot of women more difficult than for a lot of men, and it's sad. But what would your advice be to the audience listening in today, young women in particular? How do they find their voice? What are those steps they need to take?
To the ladies out there, and I get the problem, Johan, it's real, and yes, we are changing the narrative. Incrementally, we are changing the narrative. And yes, women have had less opportunities to speak. Just go to a wedding. Who is the MC at weddings? It's the guy. You ask your friend. Like, I don't know why it's always guys always MCs at weddings. So you learn in those environments in your normal day-to-day, you build the skill, and the skill gets stronger. And then when the opportunities to speak in your professional life comes, you feel the gap. You don't have the skills. So what can you do? Simple things. Start when you're going out with your friends for somebody's birthday. Be the person to say, hey, I quickly want to say a word. I quickly want to share how amazing our friend is and praise her. When you go to events, start asking questions at the Q&A, because it's sometimes vulnerable to even raise your hand and ask a question at the Q&A. That's public speaking. So just practice even in those environments. You can create your own YouTube channel. You can create videos. These are all things you have control over to improve your skills. And I do think, Johan, women do have to have a different strategy to men. It takes me an hour or two longer to get ready for an event than it takes you to get ready for an event. It just takes longer, and we just have different approaches, and we should absolutely use that to our advantage. But thank you, Johan, for raising that very important topic, because I know you see it. We go to the conferences, and we see it's a majority male speakers, especially in tech. So we do need women's voices, and we just need to get better and build our confidence every day.
I like how you said that. Look at that facial expression. Like, I'm not going to mess with you when you say that.
Don't you dare.
We're going to definitely need to look at a much longer conversation that people can listen in on. You have such amazing things to share. You've got a beautiful way of helping people. I'm going to obviously add the links to this recording, but Ursula Botha, confidence coach. I love that term. I want to put that on my CV. Confident voices. I really encourage people, male or female, I'll reach out to Ursula. Definitely look at her videos. Your shorts are incredible. I don't know if you do 5 or 6 a day, just put on a different dress every time, but they look great. They really look great. And
thank you.
Your YouTube videos. I want to just encourage you, and I know it takes a lot of time and effort, but I feel sometimes sad when I go into a week or two and I don't see a new update, because I'm subscribed to your stuff on YouTube. Like, where's your stuff? Because it really helps me. No, really.
Okay. I'll up it. Thank you. It means the world to me, Johan. It really means the world.
And to our audience as well, as they subscribe. Ursula, so much you shared. Love the work you do. And I really encourage people to reach out to you, especially businesses. Loved speaking to you. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for helping me as well through Contribute.
Thank you, Johan. Johan, thank you for being my friend and for guiding me. And we need each other as we put these puzzle pieces together. It's been an honor to talk to you. Thank you.